Hey y'all, it's Mitch with Guitar Town Guns, and this video is going to be my after action report for the fighting rifle class I took in tactical response in Camden, Tennessee on October 4th and 5th. I know it's been 3 or 4 weeks since I took the class, and you're supposed to write your after action report, but I decided to make a video instead. I got back from Camden and went right back into 60-hour work weeks, and they're really pushing it hard on us at work, so this is pretty much the only time I had to do it. So my apologies for being late to my awesome instructors, who were Jay Gibson and Reid Henrichs. I had Reid in fighting pistol, and he was excellent. He's such a great dude. This is the first time I'd ever had Jay Gibson, and Jay Gibson is just as awesome as all of the other guys at Tactical Response. They are just fantastic, fantastic people. I cannot stress that enough. They are really interested in you improving as a shooter and teaching you to be able to defend yourself. So hats off to all the instructors at Tactical Response. They are just fantastic. We had a very small class. There were only 7 students, which is kind of nice. When you have a lot of students, you don't get a lot of personal attention. But when you have fewer students, you get a lot more personal attention if you fuck shit up. So there's that. So it's kind of like, you got to take the good with the bad. It's the here and there or whatever. But we had 7 students. 4 of those 7 students were some serious fire pissers. They were using the fighting rifle course just to warm up for HRCC class, which was being held the following Monday, I believe. And I'd like to think I held my own with those boys. They were significantly younger than I, more experienced, and definitely more motivated, but I hung right in there with them. And it was great, and everyone was really helpful. When you're having trouble, the more experienced guys would always say, hey man, if you do this, blah 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 blah, you get some gear, hell, hold on. Just everyone was really helpful, everyone was really cool. So I didn't really feel like an asshole because I wasn't as young and experienced and a serious operator, like a lot of these guys were. They were just great dudes. I did way better in this class than I did in fighting pistol. Not that I did terribly bad in fighting pistol. The procedures are real similar, except it's just with a rifle. But the main reason that I think I did better in rifle than I did in pistol were these electronic earmuffs. Like an asshole, I had shown up fighting pistol without electronic earmuffs, and I couldn't hear the instructions. And I was getting corrected a lot, so don't be an asshole, buy some electronic earmuffs so you can hear the instructions. You'll be better off for it. So there was a lesson learned there, electronic earmuffs. The weather was fantastic. It was just perfect. It wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold. It was just a beautiful couple of days over a Saturday and a Sunday to put some lead down range, and it was just a lot of fun and great weather. God, I wish every weekend could be like that, but obviously it's not. One of these days I'm going to take a class down there and it's going to be raining and you're going to be crawling through the mud, and war is hell. Also, after pistol class I practiced the procedures. I practiced them like I was told to do, and it really, really helped me out as far as, even though it was a different weapon platform, the procedures are so similar. I mean, tap, rack, so on, charging handle, everything is just, if you follow the procedures, you will do well. And if you practice the procedures, you'll do well. You're there to learn how to practice, So when you leave a class, practice what you have taught or what you have been taught there. So there's that. Alright, weapons. I ran the Wyndham Weaponry heavy barrel carbine with an Aimpoint Pro, and it worked great. There were more expensive rifles than these that broke down that didn't make it through class. I had one malfunction in 1,500 rounds, and it was the second to the last drill on day 1, and I had looked down at my bolt and it was bone dry and hot. Okay, and here's why. Like an asshole, I didn't lube my rifle at lunch. Lube your rifle at lunch. There's the lesson learned right there. And you will not have a malfunction. Like I said, the Aimpoint Pro, per Jaeger's recommendation, ran great. I was banging it all day long. The Wyndham, I just love this rifle. It's not a very expensive rifle, and it made it through the class. And you know, you use your weapon really, really hard there, and this took it like a champ. For my sidearm, of course, I ran the Glock 19. Well, what can you say about the Glock 19? It's a no-brainer. It always shoots. You know, it'll shoot any kind of cheap, shitty-ass ammo. I love this gun. You know, and being from a 45 guy, I'm slowly coming around the 9mm permanently. For rifle ammo, I ran 1,500 rounds of Independence 5.56. And you can get this at Walmart for about $7.50 a box, and it is really, really good ammo. I can't say enough good things about it. This is primarily, you know, my main ammo that I buy and shoot. My pistol ammo, American Eagle, 115 grain, 9mm, more great ammo. This isn't my favorite 9mm ammo, but it's my second favorite. I prefer Spear Lawman, but it's like $1 or $2 more a box, so I ran this in class. Okay, so that's what I used for weapons. Let's talk about gear. The cheap little Condor rig that I ran actually ran great. I got this and it was fairly inexpensive. I have these kangaroo pouches that hold, you know, an M4 mag here plus pistol mag, so I have a set of 3 here and a set of 2 here, and then I have this old military style 3 magazine pouch, so my loadout was 270 rounds, and most of the time I could reload and get through the drill with these 3, but a few times I did actually have to reach over here while I was reloading, and it wasn't nearly as much of a problem as I thought it would be. For my sidearm holster, I considered running a Serpa leg rig, but I'm slowly becoming not a fan of the Serpa. So I used my trusty RC lean holsters, outside the waistband holster. I ran this holster in fighting pistol with the smaller belt loops, and it worked great. And then I put on the bigger belt loops that Rob gave me and ran this on this rig, and I liked it so much, it worked so well, that I am permanently going to leave this holster on this rig and have Rob make me another one, which he should be getting to me on Monday. But I mean, it worked really great during the transition drills. There were drills where you know, basically run your rifle dry and then transition to your sidearm and finish the drill with your sidearm, and it worked great. The Glock knife is new. This is a pretty cool thing. I got it rigged up on my vest because, you know, you never know. Glock. It's a really cool knife. I like it a lot. So there's that. Still working on trying to, you know, the draw of the knife or whatever. And, you know, we had a celebrity in the class. The Haas USMC was there, and he gave me this little patch here for my blood type. And because we both have the same blood type, he said, "I want you to be my battle buddy in case I start to bleed. I can just pick you up and, you know, siphon you around." Because, like, I'm a small guy, he's a huge guy. Nice guy, though. You know. But the Condor rig worked great. My sling didn't work so great. I think this is the Black Hawk sling. I'm not 100% sure. I got it at a gun show, but it's too long for me. I'm a short guy at 5'7", and the way this hung off the rifle was just too low. And Haas had hooked me up with this little carabiner, and we hooked it directly on the rifle, and that brought the butt of the rifle here. On a single point sling, you want the butt of your rifle to be about here, and mine was like down here like that, and it was kind of getting in the way of things. So I'm either going to have to shorten the sling or get another one or something. It's good to have your gear situated before class, but You know, I understand that a lot of times you really can't, and you got to go out and use your gear. And sometimes, you know, a lot of people can't run their gear because they don't really have a place to do it. But you know, in the middle of a drill when your gear fucks up, it's kind of embarrassing. You know, they're there to help you out. No one really criticizes you for it. But if you can, have your shit squared away before you show up to class, and that way you can get through the drills faster and, you know, have it go a little bit more smooth. You know. Also, gear, knee pads. Knee pads are critical. That ground is hard out there. You know, and you're going to be kneeling, running, crawling around in it, and you will screw your knee up. I've already got a bad knee. I wear a knee brace. I don't know if you can notice this or not. I pretty much had to ice my knee after every day. It was rough, you know. It wasn't terribly rough, but considering the fact that I've had this bum knee since I was a teenager, and I'm 50 years old now. But I made it through. I was in pain at the end of the day, but I made it through. That's the thing. I decided to fight rather than lay down and go, oh, my knee hurts, or, you know, fuck that shit. So, on top of that, we have talked about gear. One thing I want to point out is what I will call the most shameful critique. On day 2, I was there. I showed up. Actually, I was the first guy on the range. You know, so I showed up, and I'm, you know, kind of cleaning my gun and everything, and I noticed that I had some magazines that were not loaded. So I'm sitting there loading my magazines, and Jay's kind of standing over there by his truck, and he's kind of looking at me real funny, but he says, Mitch. I was like, yeah. He said, did you get in a gunfight on your way over here? I was like, no. Well, then why are you loading your magazines? And then all of a sudden, I felt about this tall. Like, you know, I had to, you know, disappointed my father. You know, but it's true, you know. Have your magazines loaded before you show up on the range. That's, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you were told to do. So instead of doing that the night before, I went out drinking beer instead with the boys, and did not have my shit squared away. Even though I showed up early on the range, I still got caught loading magazines. Have your shit loaded before you get to the range. Lessons learned. On top of that, the 3 most things that I learned in fighting rifle class. Number 1, smooth is slow, slow is fast. Take your time. Follow the procedure, step by step by step by step by step. Procedure, procedure, procedure. Speed will eventually come. Smooth is slow, slow is fast. And if you really need any more explanation on that, I'd be glad to have a debate with you over it. But slow down, follow the procedure, eventually your speed will come. Developing that muscle memory to fire from reset, to get your sight acquisition, all that shit is very, very important. But you got to learn to walk before you can run. So slow down. You'll save ammo, your shot placement will be better. Okay? Smooth is slow, slow is fast. 2, firing from reset will improve your shot placement. You know, fire from reset. They're trying to get you to fire from the reset. Your shots will be better. Trust me, your shots will be better. I'm out there shooting rifle, and apparently I had, you know, forgotten everything that I learned in pistol class. And Reid pulls me aside and says, hey man, remember in pistol class last month and you were having trouble because you weren't firing from the reset? It's the same thing here, man. You know, it's like you fire from reset, you slow down, you let, you know, let that trigger out just until it resets, and then fire again. It will improve your shots. I promise you, dude, it will do it. So I listened to Reid. I did exactly what Reid told me to do, and my shot placement got better. I start banging. I'm putting hard shots right here at 45 yards. You know, no problem. You know, fire from reset. Train yourself to fire from reset. It is really, really important. You know, that's one thing that you really need to work on when you're doing your practice, whether live or whether with dry practice. At the end of fighting pistol, speaking of Reid, I love Reid, he's so awesome. Yeah. So, what was the most thing you learned? You know, and I had not a great experience at fighting pistol because I didn't think that I did well, and most of it was a confidence problem that, you know, we worked out, and, you know, even Jaeger pointed out, said, you just have a confidence problem. If you think you won't be able to do it, you won't. If you think you can do it, you will. So Reid and I were talking at the end of fighting pistol, and he said, what's the most thing you learned? I told him, I learned how unprepared for the fight I really am. That was the most important thing I learned. And then he looked at me straight in the face and said, no, man, you learned how unprepared for the fight you were. Okay? And it's just a mindset. It's turning things around to the point where you train and you get the confidence, and with each particular class you get better, you gain more confidence, you gain more skill. But it starts with the mindset. Mindset is everything. The rest of it is bullshit if you don't have the mindset first. You know? So now I am more ready for the fight than I was. And that's my after action report. I'll see you guys soon. Fighting Shotguns next week. Stay tuned.